Like a lot of that switch.
I'm here.
See all front.
Switch between
what's the app you use for live stream?
I'm not physically doing shit. Yeah, that's why I'm like,
Control access with it. I'm on the board of directors for HOA.
Trust me, Vegas
You control access with that. And matter of fact, it's tied to his phone. So, and if you're going to live stream, you can stream it to a car. If you're an admin on that, then you can control everything that happens. When we get our same thing.
So when y'all stream your meetings, you stream it to Facebook Live?
Yeah. This stream is on Facebook Live. You can go to YouTube. You can go to... You do business here? You have to use an RCMP protocol. But it don't have to get these are designed originally designed to maximum don't really open. But the other thing is, if you want to use all, I would suggest OBS and then multi-camera and then you can stream it.
We do, so you run off the camera, but what about you got the are they able to throw their presentation up in there?
Get their slides and come to the space.
So we let our this is what I'm saying. They run it, share your screen or your presentation there. You're not a one here. You have everything else. Record
and they keep making it smaller.
I work at here. Going back tonight for our first new board members.
Yeah, we just had our interview and I'm letting my board members are our first. Let me ask you something. To do business on average, what, if you don't mind me asking, what are y'all charging HOAs?
So I'm actually a member of 2 HOAs. I left one board where I live. So this board is HOA community of like 3,000 members.
That's why.
Yeah, it's a big, it's a Brookfield. Not a big Brookfield, but it's pretty big, pretty old. So I got formed in the 90s by West Vaco Corporation. But anyway, HOA fees aren't bad. I'd say we're now at $550 per year. No, but the other one is smaller. There's some gated communities that are our own, and there are some sub HOAs. They've got like 27 different like neighborhoods. Yeah.
Will the city post did that here?
No.
That's all good. Go ahead. I'm keeping this up for you.
There you go.
I'm just sitting here recording that.
Oh yeah.
They go hand in hand though.
Yeah. I don't know that is the same. I think you're playing about after the time. So.
It's good.
So you do EBA here.
With the last problem, I'm going to get on there today because I want to have some ball on that a little bit. It's run by people that are on that team, so we got to do that now.
No, we want to do it.
met a few of these gentlemen on Twitter. I saw you last year. That's a big one. So many athletes, you know, I'm the director of IT. I just tried to leave. I live in West Columbia. I come in Sunday night and I leave Friday afternoon. It's different. Yeah, they came from the apartments. I came from actually, I was pretty much they kept me in the holiday and we were
for life and stuff like that.
Right now, it's just private,
It's just a pure asshole. Is this for me? Yes.
I even try to put the prices as low as possible. Sure, or give me your number. Kind of debate. Drive. I've had really 50-50. Some people love it, some people are not paying attention.
This is how so it's kind of cool. Listen to over by
I was sick last week, so if you pitched the TV stuff last week, that's okay.
was it walking distance of them? It was so big that the family came in and Turn that house.
Is it time commitment?
Both of them 3 bedrooms. Over 1,400 square feet. So that house is living in for like 40 people. Yeah. Like over 10,000 square feet. And she just, it is supposed to, I come in, I go up the stairs, I can see how I do it. So I never look at the house. Because that happened, but it's so funny. She didn't know I've got like the street and Michelle's grandfather was around the corner. And they just have like mini enclaves of family. On the side, some of them claims across the
attendance for today. So just take a moment if you would, please. And if you're not signed up, if you're new here with us today, please sign up. Thank you.
Sheriff has, he has, and I don't know what he has the Berlin Coat Factory. Is that the only one on the other side of JP He's got Sears and Faces. Mason's still there, but it's across from Mason's empty. Then he has he's in the call center, 911 call center. I was talking to him.
Well, give us what you got. Like commentary.
And it's all the beautiful parking in the I don't know. They still have. I forgot the name of the restaurant.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started in about 1 minute. If you haven't already, please scan the QR code and let them know that you are here. We are taking attendance this way this morning. If it's your first time with us, please sign up. We'd love to have you sign up with us.
That church is
I had to literally do it myself. I went and talked to Spectrum, contract with them, run the lines. All the time, it's not even right there. It's already hard enough.
All right, everybody all scanned in? Okay. Yes, great. All right, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping here. So welcome. This is 1 Million Cups Columbia. If this is your first time with us, thank you. We love having you here. We meet every Wednesday at 9 a.m. and 1 Million Cups is a national organization as well. So across the U.S. right now, everyone in their locations are meeting for this entrepreneurial event. Our mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new, seasoned, and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. Our key pillars: we give presentations, not pitches. We create authentic connections. We're not just a network. And we are radically and intentionally inclusive. And we are run for the community, by the community. And what do I mean by that? Well, here we are. These are some of our business owners that, because of their work and dedication, bring this to you weekly. So we are allowed in the building here by the USC Columbia Technology Incubator. We appreciate them allowing us to use their facility. We also have several businesses below who do everything from help our marketing, our Facebook posts, our print ads, anything we do is brought to you by the folks here, even the coffee in the back. So if you'd like to be one of our sponsors, we are looking for more organizers. We'd love to have you. Please reach out to me. Our local program, we've been here over 10 years. Like I said, we are held weekly every Wednesday morning. We have had over 500 entrepreneurial presentations. And we also include educational topics like finance, future frame, networking, and local resources. We have one presenter every week with about a 6 to 10 minute presentation, and then we follow that with Q&A from the community. We'll also bring back entrepreneurs who have made it. We're considering making 1 million or more in their scene, and we love to have them come back and share their stories with us. And we're always a free organization. We are here open to the public, and we give you free coffee. First of all, 1 Million Cups, it is not a sales pitch, and we're not an investor pitch. The room here is filled with your colleagues. It's a room of other entrepreneurs. And the goal is to have people understand what you do, some of the challenges you've had in building your business. We're all here to help grow, learn, inspire. And we're looking for presenters. I'm filling our roster for January and February of 2025, so I'm looking for local entrepreneurs to come and present their business. Christine, I'm not staring at the back of your head or anything. Companies that are 0 to 5 years old and open to community engagement can apply to present at 1 Million Cups. Here is the link. You can reach out to me, and I'll have some flyers up here as well. Please join our local Facebook page if you haven't already. So we have 2 Facebook pages. One is the 1 Million Cups, which is our national, and this is our little more private family page. So this is here strictly for folks here in Columbia. Please scan and become a member if you haven't already. I'll give everybody a second to do that. Thank you. And just some other notes. So next week we are closed because of the Christmas holiday. The following week after that we are closed because of the New Year's Day holiday. January 8th will be, so far it's going to be considered an open session where we'll probably have a forum, a community talk is what we'll talk it, because I don't have anyone lined up to present. Unless you would like to, please let me know. And January 15th, we're going to have Robin Marin here. She is with the SC Small Business Development Center, and she's going to come and tell us all about the services that this department has available to you.
And she's in the building.
She is in the building.
She's in the building.
Yes, ma'am. If you haven't already, we've been talking about this for the last 2 months. Please file your LLC. It is easy to do. It just takes a couple of minutes. They ask for a copy of your identification. Go onto that link to do that. You want to get that done before the end of the year. Yes, ma'am.
There's been an extension and it's posted in the elevator.
And when does that extension go through?
I'm sorry.
It's posted in the elevator. A CPA that's in the building, she highlighted the dates. I want to say that it is 6 months out from December 1st because of the storm.
There's a court case that's been provided that by the federal government in Texas that they are basically canceling it, postponing it, and they're actually saying that it's not legal for them to use it.
It's on hold indefinitely until they actually suss out if that's going to stand or it's going to be overturned.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So that's what my discussion's next.
Oh.
But I'll also tell you, the attorney, Nelson Wallace for the incubator, has advised everyone to do what they do it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, and they go back and you could be scrambling, if you don't get the message, you could be left with your pants down.
And it is totally painless.
Oh, geez.
So,
5 minutes.
you might as well do it.
And it's free.
Yeah.
They don't charge you nothing. So.
I think it's only difficult for those who have multi-layers
Yeah.
of accounts. That's what it is.
I had to file 5 of them. So
Exactly.
it doesn't take a long time, but you have to think about if you are on the HOA board, you have to file, right? Because that board needs to file, right? So there are those kinds of things that people aren't thinking about. That I'm on a nonprofit board, I don't have to work. Yeah, you still have to.
All right, all the information is on the website, so please.
Or in the elevator.
Or the elevator notes, whatever.
Old school website.
Yeah.
All right. So without further ado, I'd like to present to you our presenter today. We have Ms. Jacqueline Campbell with Consulting. She's a dedicated education consultant who specializes in computer science and digital immersion programs. She and her company help schools seamlessly combine computational thinking skills with core content to improve student engagement, knowledge, retention, and critical thinking skills. And she is going to present to us the development of her business and some of the struggles she's facing today. So without further ado, I'm going to let her get locked in, loaded, and let's just give a welcome to
Alright, so my name is Jacqueline Campbell. I began my journey as a teacher in the classroom 13 years ago, or I was in the classroom for 13 years. And when I was in the classroom, I always saw the need for constant professional development for teachers, and I was always the person they picked to go sit into all these things and then bring back and teach everybody. And so I've always been kind of tech savvy. I've always been kind of forward thinking in my career. I was also always the person that had to unjam the copier, and I would try to keep that under wraps so that nobody knew I knew how to do it, because I definitely did not want to be called on every single day to unjam the copier. So basically, what I did in the classroom is I was a middle school teacher, arguably in my opinion the hardest job of all. And so I would have 36 screaming, raging hormone children in my room, and I would have to keep them engaged and entertained and trying to learn. And I had to convince them that learning what I wanted them to learn was the most important thing in the world, which was not true, to them at least. And so, I kind of say it all the time that I was kind of a salesman in certain aspects that had to kind of sell my baloney to all these 13-year-olds. So I did that for many years, and I was actually a middle school English teacher. And I knew I wanted to get out of the classroom. And I kind of had a journey to get out of the classroom, and then what happened was I moved down here and kind of started over. I went back into the classroom down here, but I had lost all my connections and all my networking that I had done within the school district, and I had just kind of like lost my steam and saw myself fall kind of back down the ladder. And so I said, whoa, it's going to take me a long time to kind of network within the school district and kind of, meet the right people to be able to move up and to get out of the classroom and whatnot. Because my goal has always been to educate other teachers and to provide them with kind of creative thinking, which I think is my forte, is this idea of just being creative and thinking outside the box. And so I saw that, and I decided that I needed to look outside of public education. I needed to look into the private sector. So what I did is I actually started working for a company. I left teaching, I left the schools, and I started working for a company who, their job, I was kind of one of their consultants or professional development coaches, and I would go into schools and they trained me on how to implement computer science and technology into the everyday common core classroom. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. I love technology. I love, bringing these kind of cool ideas. I love teaching teachers. I love teaching other people in general. And so I saw this and I loved it. I spent, this was 2019, when I left the classroom, and I spent that year kind of growing and really making some strides, and I loved it. And in 2020, the education world, like everyone else's world, kind of shut down a little bit for sure. And the company that I was working for, they couldn't adapt. I'm not sure what was going on in their world, but they couldn't figure out. And I was sitting there, in my house, working from home. And I was saying, hey, we could be doing this, this, and this for the teachers. And they said, no, leave them alone, leave them alone. I'm like, but we're here to help them. And they're like, no, leave them alone. So I decided, my schools came to me and they said that company ended up going out of business and they couldn't kind of meet the needs of their customers. So one of my biggest customers, which was a school district in the area, Lexington 1, they came to me and they said, we love you, we don't want to lose you. They said, we want you to keep doing what you're doing. They said, can you do that? I said, actually I can, and I can do it way better than that company that I was working for. And they were like, awesome. And they go, well, we can't hire you because we don't have to pay you health care or give you benefits. And I was like, that's fine, I don't even need benefits. I was gonna figure that out later. And then, so then they were like, okay, so you'll just start your own consulting company and we'll hire you. I said, great. And then I hung up the phone with them and I Googled, how do you start your own consulting company? And since then I've been Googling every single day, how do I do blah, 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 how do I do this? So that's kind of what I've done. I've built a business. I've been in business for 5 years now. I have worked with many school districts. I've lost some, I've gained some, and I've had a really good rapport with my school districts, and the fact that they, kind of ask me to come back year after year is great, and it's awesome, and that's what I've been doing. So what is it that I do? Basically, I take the school's needs, which schools right now have a really hard time because they're trying to get kids to learn, but they're competing essentially with all the cool things the kids would rather be doing. So what I do is I bring in the cool things and I put it in the classroom. So if you are learning about the Revolutionary War, which I'm sure there's history buffs in here that would say that that's amazing. I think that's absolutely boring. But if I put that into Minecraft and I make it more of a game where the kids are coding and building scenes from the Revolutionary War that lead up to it and explaining those things on billboards and things like that and adding NPC characters, that makes it cool. If I take sight words and instead of kids memorizing sight words, they're driving robots to sight words with little maps on the floor, that makes it cool. So that's kind of what I do. I actually developed my own curriculum. So not only do I provide curriculum to schools, I also provide coaching. My model as a former educator is that I wouldn't ask you to do anything that I wouldn't come in and do for you. So a lot of times, honestly, probably almost every day when I was a teacher, someone would come and sit up in front of me and lecture to me what I should be doing. And I loved it, and my colleagues loved it that I actually had the balls, and I would be like, this is amazing, can you model this in my classroom tomorrow? And they would all be like, and none of them would do it. And so I actually do that. I go into classrooms, I go in and meet with principals, and I tell them that I'm going to do it for them. I go into the classrooms, I model it for the teachers. they ask me questions, I give them homework kind of essentially, can you do this, this, and this while I'm gone? Then I come back a couple weeks later and I say, okay, what have we done, where are we going, what have the kids struggled with, let's add it in. And then I'm also taking what they're already teaching. So I'm not giving them something additional, I'm making what they're already doing kind of cool. So that's kind of what I do. Back in, my day when I went to school, I was student number 1 where you had packets and worksheets and you were memorizing facts and you were reading and you were copying notes and someone was standing up lecturing to you. Well, I don't do that. I make sure that students are doing game-based learning. I actually read an article yesterday that Elon Musk started a school in Texas, and it's all going to be about game-based learning, which is really cool because that's what I do. So I was excited that we're on the same wavelength. And it's all about student voice and choice. So, the kids want to have an interest in what they're learning. They want to be invested in what they're learning. Not just kids, we want to be invested in what we're learning, right? So that is kind of what I do. I go in and I say, okay, you have to learn about the Revolutionary War. That's a non-negotiable. But let's make it cool. What could we do? You have to learn multiplication facts, but could we put it in a game and tinker and code it so that you're shooting multiplication facts on the screen instead of, just writing on a piece of paper? So I do robotics, I do coding, I collaborate with teachers, I do problem solving, critical thinking skills. All of those things go into computational thinking. That's what it's called, thinking like a computer. And that's really our way of the future is all these tech things are coming out, a lot of AI. I have AI generated lessons. Teachers are very afraid of AI right now because they're afraid of students getting all the answers and they don't know how to combat that. So it's really about thinking outside the box and not being afraid of all the technology coming, but really learning how to adapt to that technology. So that's kind of what I do, and basically the cool thing about what I do is I integrate it into what they're doing. You're already teaching math, science, social studies, ELA, and any teacher can give me a standard that they're teaching. I'm teaching, Transcontinental Railroad tomorrow. Great. We're going to put some robots in there. We're going to have a robot drive down a railroad, and you're going to tell me about the stops and what each person is kind of learning along the way. I'm teaching states of matter. Awesome. We're going to put that into Minecraft, and you're going to do states of matter, and the kids are going to build cool models with states of matter. And they're also coding when they're doing it as well. So that's what it is. It's not giving them an extra to do. It's also not taking it out of the core content classroom. A lot of your kids, if you have kids in schools, probably have an elective that's a STEM elective, but it's in isolation. And we know as people in business that nothing is really done in isolation. You're not just sitting down doing math. You're not just sitting down, writing up, a paper or whatever. You're really kind of integrating all your ideas and everything into one. And so that's what it's all about. So this is kind of my integration. These are pictures from my schools of kids seeing what they're doing. You can see there's a lot of collaboration, there's a lot of movement. They're not just kind of sitting and staring at a teacher talking. And then this is what I do not do. So I do not let them sit and listen to me talk. I talk for a little bit and then let them go. So my teachers are like, oh my God, this is too noisy. I'm like, it should be noisy. That's the sound of learning. So, I have to usually walk teachers off the ledge a little bit, but I'm pretty good at that. I've learned how to master that. And here's how it's going for me. So I'm very open to ideas and help. Google has brought me into this place where I am right now, but I would love any ideas and advice that you guys can give me. So here's kind of how it started. I started in 2021 with one school district. I've lost that school district because they went to Amazon, who gives them free stuff. So I really can't compete with free, because I'm definitely not free. I'm cheaper than some of these big companies. I provide customization, which is different from a lot of these companies. If you go to code.org, they give you a lot of free curriculum, but it's not, they don't sit down with your teacher and say, what are you teaching tomorrow? Let's figure out how to implement that. I really can't compete with a free curriculum. So that's a hard thing to do. I've gained some schools along the way, and most all of those have been through relationships. So a principal leaves this school and goes to another district, they bring me with them because they love me so much. I have not sold any schools in my 5 years, whatever, just from like cold calling or figuring out or walking up there. So I don't know how to do that. That's kind of my biggest challenge. So here's how you can help me. I don't really know how I know sales is everyone wants sales, everyone wants new customers. I don't specifically know how to sell to school districts. I don't know how to get in there. They won't let me in the building. I can't just show up there. So like, I don't really know what to do. I did do a trade show recently, or a conference where I was a vendor at a conference. I got a lot of great contacts, and then I reached out to all of them. I gave away free stuff, and I just don't get a lot back. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong for there as far as follow-up. Customer retention is kind of a hard thing to me when they figure out that, they can go with Amazon and get it for free. I don't really know what I should be doing there for customer retention. Scaling and growth is also a struggle because I don't know it's just me. I've added an assistant a couple times and it just has not worked out very well for me. And it really has been more of an admin role than anything else. I would love to hire a salesperson, but I don't know when I'm going to go into debt to be able to hire a salesperson to be able to grow. And I think that's the hard thing to do is when to do that. Funding and growth is always just an issue. I would love a new website. I would love some marketing materials. I had a friend do my website, so it's not good. To be honest with you. So that's one of the lessons I learned along the way is don't hire someone you know to do your website, because now I need to redo it, and I don't know how to do it, and I paid her money to do it, and so that was an issue too. So that was kind of hard, but I would like a kind of more of a branding scheme, and then a new website and all that jazz. And then one of my biggest struggles is, when I go to schools, they want to hear the evidence, they want to hear the data. It's hard for me to get evidence because if I don't have it, I can't force the school to take evidence for me. And so I have a hard time, whereas I'll have a teacher and she'll implement something and I'll give her a pre-test and a post-test and she'll be like, oh, I didn't get to that one. Or, oh, only 3 kids ended up doing that. So that's been difficult for me to get solid evidence. I have a little bit. I have a lot of customer testimonials, but I don't have a lot of solid core evidence-based data to back up what I'm doing other than just people in word of mouth and that. So that is where my struggle is. And I would love it if you have any questions or if you have any things.
All right, let's open it up to the room.
So I have a couple of things before, and then I'll just pose these. You're working with the school district, right? Are you seeking things for you to think about? Are you seeking teachers to partner with? Because building that relationship will provide you the evidence because the teachers collect test scores.
Yes.
They have to.
Yes.
So that's one thing. Second thing, I don't think you're necessarily doing anything wrong, but what is happening in the school districts is that CARES money, that ESSER money and Title I money is going away.
It's a huge issue for me, yes.
Right.
So that's how I'm paid for a lot of
That's how you're paid, right? My sister does this, so we talk about this same problem all the time. And so one of the things that I would suggest is by finding that consistent partnership, that's going to allow you to, one, provide the evidence, to be able to get in at the school district level. You'll have somebody who can talk for you to the school district. And then obviously that money it's got to come from somewhere. And that's the problem that they're going to have to figure out how to pay you. But if you have the evidence and the partnerships already in place, it makes it a lot easier for you to forge. You're forging a new road. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the biggest things that you're going to be facing. Marketing and all the other things that definitely needs to be set up to look like the new road, right? What you're doing now is the traditional way of consulting, right, with schools, and since that money is going away, that avenue is going to be closed for a while. So you're going to need to pivot into that new partnership-based space. That's all I got right now.
Perfect, I appreciate that.
Hi, my name is LaSasha. I work with the Richland County Office of Small Business Opportunity. And one of the things that I thought about when I was listening to you, I took some notes, so I think that I see like how you're trying to go on a sales-based approach. I think you should probably consider contracting opportunities through the school district procurement portals.
So I definitely have done that. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that. So I've done that. I got registered with the state, and then I've gone on there and I've submitted 2 proposals now, and I've heard nothing back from. Or I've gotten accepted from those proposals as like a registered vendor, but then I don't hear anything back, and they tell me I'm not allowed to contact the schools. And so then I feel like my hands are tied because like you accepted me, then I can't like reach out to them.
May I ask what school districts you did that for?
That was I know one of them was Rock Hill.
Okay, I'm talking about locally here. Richland too. They are.
I'm in Richland too currently. That's one of my biggest customers.
Okay, okay.
No,
Do you have a contract with them?
I have a contract with a school.
With the school,
and they currently pay me out of Title I funds because they're Title I funds, Title I school, and getting minority students into computer science-based skills is a huge push. So.
Okay. And then also, is your business certified?
So it's not, but it's on my to-do list forever, and I pulled up the thing yesterday, and like, because I've been lectured on that before, that I need to do that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of paperwork and everything. But
I think it would definitely benefit you, especially as a woman-owned small business. You would technically be considered disadvantaged, and also a small business enterprise, a small local business enterprise, and a minority business enterprise. So that's 5 different certifications that you can apply for to certify your business, and these programs have certain standards and thresholds that they have to meet in different services and commodities. So I think that would definitely be a good look for you. And you said you're sourcing the state's business opportunities portal. Are you referring to Skibo or something else?
I think it's Skibo.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
I've been checking it. Like, how often would you check it? Because I check it like once a month.
No, you should be checking it every day. Yeah, because things change consistently. And I know for the county, we have our own program through my office. We actually help you with the certificate process. There's a few people in here that I've actually worked with closely, and we've gotten the paperwork together. It's a great step to start on the local level before you jump to federal or state, because they do require more documentation. But if you're interested, I can give you some more information. And then after that, we connect you with collaborative partners that can help you.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. First of all, I really like what you do because it looks really fun. Now, some years ago, there's a scandal in Georgia, the public schools, where they got paid, the teachers got paid based on how their students did on standardized tests. I'm sure you heard of that one.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works in South Carolina. If anyone is in the education system here, what incentive, I'd love to promote your stuff, I could, but how do I promote it to, if South Carolina is not, if their compensation is not based on student performance and there's no way to game the system like we did in Georgia, how would I best put you in front of, and say, hey, this is a great business?
That's an awesome question. So teachers' number 1 complaint right now, behavior. Student behavior. So if you can get those kids engaged, they're no longer being bad, to be honest with you. Remember, they're no longer, getting out of their seats and running out of the room and telling you to excuse my language, but that happens to me all the time. And so they're not doing that when they're playing with robots and they're playing on Minecraft. They don't even realize that they're learning.
So to the school districts, I'd say you increase teacher retention by keeping the little brass down.
Yes, yes.
Big box.
Yes, that's exactly it.
They drag your teachers about in here.
Yes.
I don't know if this is the same thing, but private schools or Catholic school. I was just over by the church on Divine Street, and they have a school, like their own. So I don't know if they're separated.
I'm not sure. That's one of my weaknesses, and I have it on my goals list to figure out. I've never been in a private school setting, so I don't know the ins and outs. I know a little bit of how who to contact.
I've been to private school, not here in South Carolina.
Yeah.
But I've been to private school, and I know they'll spend money. They're not going to go on Amazon. Whatever you ask for, they're not going to go on Amazon and say, okay, no, they're going to spend the money because they're receiving tuition. So I'm not sure how South Carolina does theirs if it's part of the school district. I know New York public schools, it was not, you weren't part of the district. And then homeschooling. So if you want to talk about people that's going to spend their money, I feel like private schools and homeschool, some sort of homeschooling association. So some sort of homeschooling association, they will the parents are gonna spend money if you're coming into their home, because you said customization.
Oh, yeah.
So like I said, private schools, they're not gonna go with Amazon. They'll pay you what you ask, what you're worth, and they will spend the money.
Yeah. Right up here. Oops, sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, my name is Mia. I'm a content creator on Instagram, but I have two questions. So one of them kind of to piggyback off what she said, I had wrote down, we work with homeschool teachers, because I know a couple women that have like homeschool, and it's also their children, but they bring other homeschool children into the home, they teach them. And I honestly know one woman that would really be like interested in your services, because I think they're great to like attract attention for children, especially when they're home. It seems, because I homeschool my daughter too part-time, but I see when they're home, like they just need to stay busy. So I really, because it's like familiar, because it's their home. So I think it would be really good. So that was one of my questions. And the second question was, do you have a presence on social media?
I do.
Okay.
You would probably tell me that I'm probably doing it all wrong, but I would, like, in another life, if I could grow up to be an Instagram influencer, I totally would. If I was that cool or whatever, I am trying my best to get better at social media, and you know, I'm stretched thin as everyone is, remember when we wear all the hats, but I use Social Pilot. I just started this like 2 months ago. I use Social Pilot, which has been life-changing for me. And so I create a post, whatever, and I do it for the whole month, whatever. I take one day and like do it, whatever. But I will be honest with you, my posts are like just a photo and a ChatGPT, like, you know, caption, whatever. But I'm rolling right now, whatever. So it is a start. So I mean, if you have other suggestions on the things like that I could do, whatever. But I am trying to take more videos and pictures. I have a really hard time because if I go into school, some schools don't let me. So that's a huge privacy concern. I always block out the faces of any kids if I do, whatever. I always block out their faces and things like that. But some schools will even be like, absolutely not. Like, so that's a hard thing for me to do. Because then it's like I'm doing this cool stuff, but you can't see it because there's kids in there. And so, you know, I try, but I am trying, whatever. So if you have any other ideas, yeah.
So I was going to say private schools to tackle the funding issue that you're kind of running into. Because one, obviously it's what you're offering the children is a big scale, but also schools have to differentiate themselves. So if you can provide a product that you're saying, look, like, we're giving this, and this is a thing that attracts parents to send their kids to school, because not all schools provide this. It's a really good sales point.
Okay.
So I really would, I went to Heathwood when I was younger. It's a really great school, and they're really big on different ways, even back when I was in school, like just different learning opportunities. So I think they'd definitely be interested. And if you go online, like you can see all of the people that are on the board and everything. I don't think it would, I don't know, but I don't think it would be that difficult to have a conversation with them and kind of talk about what you do. But Hammond is another one, Cardinal Newman. Those are all local private schools, and I really think there's an opportunity there, because I know the funding thing is something that you can't really help. So at least for your business to survive, while that's all, I don't know much about that, but I think that would be good.
Do you know who makes the decisions in private schools?
About like
curriculum?
I can, so my mom used to teach there. I can try to figure that out for you. I would think it would probably, if it's something where it's just middle school that you work with.
Just elementary schools.
Just elementary. So it's probably the principal, because I know when I went there, that was the person kind of that decided what was done in each, because it's elementary, middle, and high school. So, but as far as the funds to do that, I think you could probably talk to them, and then if it's something that they wanted to do, they would figure out how to do that.
At St. John Newman Catholic School, which is a private school on the northeast side, they have an advisory board who advises with the principal, and they do the decision making. So I'm assuming most of the schools, private schools, have advisory boards.
Right.
Yeah.
But the principal will get you there.
The principal will get you in front of the advisory board.
So many things you and I have to talk about. So, one, because I'm a jack of all trades and I've worked as an executive assistant in all fields of education, from
the schools themselves to the school districts to universities. Yes, and this correct here, you're not going to get a lot of luck with the public schools because of the restrictions with procurement and things like that. Grants, so on and so forth. If you're going to do that, I would go where everyone has a magnet program.
And that's exactly what I do. Whenever, like, for example, I work with CN Lab and they have a computer science magnet program, and then we've been referencing.
Have you talked to the director?
No.
I know her personally. I worked with her before. That's what you need to start with the director, and they will research all the programs. And their funds are not just from ESSER. They're from they have all kinds of grants and other kinds of funding. So that's not just coming from ESSER funds, it's coming from all kinds of funds so that you're not restricted if you do the public school. Private schools, project work with directors and things like that, advisory boards, and those would be the sources of the private schools and the HOAs. HOAs are really good. Even K-12, which is a national one, can be a really good resource because if a national, you don't have to be in the class. You can hire actors to be your students to display your thing. And one of the things, we need a proposal to show these people. And Mia is content healing, that's different. Get on Instagram, you never told. You need to be on some sort of social media. Pick one that really works for you. It doesn't have to be TikTok and dancing around and stuff. You can just show like, hey, show some kids looking bored, sitting in class, as they always are, causing chaos. And then showing, hey, this is what I do. And getting them engaged, getting them excited, and doing things like that. But you need to have your P's and Q's, like what your logistics, getting your certifications, getting your proposals, all these things. And that's what drives me crazy. So that's why you and I talk, because I'm a planner. That's what I do. I write plans, I get them. But I also want you to be able to people such from the beginning, and so that next year, starting in January, you're like, okay, well this time next year, you're like, there's not 4 years of not only losing momentum, because it seems like it's you're losing momentum, instead of when you should be actually, what you're doing is something that, like you said, Marcus is already on that. You should be peaking, you should be going to the roof.
Jacqueline, did you have comments?
I actually work with children, also private school, that's a good thing, but they don't have the behavior problem like babies. So that's not true. The other thing is.
Another sales pitch for that.
Yeah, I never thought about putting on a camp. I work with children with hands-on with cooking and they love it. So what you're understanding about the children do learn differently now. So I think what you're doing is amazing. They just started with camp for officers.
So I thought about doing camps, and I kind of got the wind taken out of my sails, which probably made it a bad move. But I talked to a couple people who were in that industry, like Code Ninjas and like Lexington and things like that. They went out of business because they said it's just like they said it's not profitable. Or whatever. So exactly. Okay. So then I was like, well, like I don't want to put effort into something that I felt like wasn't going to be. And so then I pivoted, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because I never got as far as to figure it out. So.
Let Kiki go first.
Oh, I was just gonna say, my son goes to Hebrew, so I can give you the contact information for them, so you can contact them.
So the two things I was going to say, one, she's right about social media, but don't choose what works well for you. Choose where your audience is. That's the first thing. The second thing was, we talked about camps. If camps are something you're going to have to do as a give back. I do a film camp every summer. It makes no money. I lose money every single. But the impact on the children. I've got 2 kids in a rural area that took my film camp. One went to the governor's school for creative writing afterwards. One went to a film school afterwards. Their parents can't call me enough and say, anything we can do for you, anything we can help you with, right? So you are building equity with people that will understand and become the champion of your brand down the road.
They'll spread your products.
On the federal level, are you familiar with Perkins funds?
No.
That's a fund that you can use because you're STEM based. Disadvantaged school systems, which we have a lot of in South Carolina, they get federal funds through a fund called Perkins. I teach at Lexington Technology Center, even though they're not disadvantaged, they use Perkins funds to pay us to come in and teach the drone course.
Okay.
So that's a humongous pool of money.
Okay.
To take a look into Perkins funds.
Okay.
And that way the school district won't, the money doesn't come from them, it comes from the federal.
Exactly.
This is just, and I'm sorry to do this,
Go for it.
you need to slow down first.
Okay.
I mean, you have how many hats on now?
A lot.
Right.
Yeah.
And instead of adding more to it, I'm sitting there going, if somebody's giving it away free, what's the big difference between you and the free?
You want me to answer that?
Yeah, I mean, and even if you don't have that answer today, that's the answer that starts everything else.
Yeah.
Why would I pay you if somebody's giving it to me free? And what are the benefits and everything? It's back to what brand is. Brand isn't a logo or a website. It isn't all of that. What brand is the promise between you and your target audience or your customers. And I think I heard it, but I'm not sure that I heard it in your presentation. And I don't want you to solve it right now. But I want you to start thinking, how are you different?
Yeah, I heard it, and she didn't keyed in on it yet. But and I don't want to give it, but I will tell you, it's in the space where you are talking about. Well, they provide the curriculum.
Right.
That's not the thing.
Correct.
Like that's not the thing to build on.
It's the implementation.
It's the implementation aspect of it.
And the fact that you're local, in South Carolina especially, because I looked at Georgia and I feel like it wasn't as much of a thing. People love local where you can come in, like say, implementing and be there as an advisor because it is something new and different that everyone doesn't understand. I think that's a huge step.
Private school.
I'm ashamed to say this, I've known Jacqueline for a long time, and I didn't know this is what you do. That's pretty bad to say.
What do you do for a living?
But I would say, most importantly, for scalability, data for you.
Yeah.
First and foremost, subjective and objective data. Objective data back to test scores. Subjective, even student satisfaction. Was this more fun, or did you know they do it the old way?
Yeah.
You know, all of that starts to collect, and then that gives you to my second point, being able to go for grants. To me, this is tailor-made for the grant.
Right.
And if you can get grants, and I can help you with that through the university system, through the technical colleges, and then most importantly, what I would say in this building, Apex. Because Apex, when you get registered and you are a double, well, no, you're a single minority, it doesn't matter. You're a minority business. There are so many government opportunities and therefore, I think would probably overwhelm you.
Yeah.
I'll go back to what he said. What makes you different is your delivery system and the satisfaction, probably the satisfaction of thinking. But if you have that data that you can then sell and promote as a minority-owned business, I think the world would be your oyster.
There's a set of schools that you haven't even considered, and nobody ever does. There are 161 public schools on military bases.
Nuts.
And
they don't have behavioral problems.
They don't have behavioral
And
problems.
they'll give you the money.
But they're open to different ways of teaching. They've been teaching differently for decades. I mean, any kid that has ever gone to school on a military base can tell you, when you go back to a public, when you come off base, you're like, this is barbaric. So Fort Jackson has, and it only goes up to elementary. We won't even say middle school because it doesn't. They come off it for 6th grade. So they go from K to 5th. It's perfect. It's Paris Terrace and Hood Street on Fort Jackson. That's why I was asking, once you get your brand, the military did something a long time ago, and I don't know what they morphed it into, but it was called Individualized Personal Instruction, IPI. And it sounds sort of like what you were doing, but students moved at their own pace. And in math and reading, it placed kids coming off the military base at college level in the 5th grade. So I think, yeah, that there's a whole world, and it's a smaller market. But what it gives you is proof of life also. And the folks are asking about results. If you get with something like that, then you have all the proof you need, and it gives you a higher standard.
They'll compile the results for you. They'll do the reports for you.
They don't have a choice.
On the military base, they'll do it for you.
One of the things that you mentioned, grants, and that could be a good place for you, but you need to have a partner already in mind. Grants are very specific implementation tools, right? So when you go to set up a grant, say for instance you're already working with Richland 2, right? You go to someone there and say, I want to write a grant for robotics. I want to write a grant for implementation of culinary arts, whatever it may be. Whatever. Most of the stuff is going to be in tech that they're looking for grants for, but then you list them inside the grant proposal as a strategic partner and what they are offering in kind. What grantors are always looking for is that it's going to be a sustainable placement for this grant. Meaning that after the first year, whatever the term is, sometimes it's 1 year, sometimes it's 5 years, they get this data back, they will see that this is sustainable, and a lot of times that's how you get your permanent foundation grants that come in and say hey, we're gonna create a set amount of money for this in this particular school. So, but you have to have somebody do the research on that. And yes, and I'm out of time. Sorry.
Question. Yes, I have some great children's books and literacy materials that you can add to your program.
That would be amazing. Because I do base a lot of my, because I work with a pre-K and I base everything around a book. So that's really awesome. I would love that. That's really cool.
Deborah, you want to ask her the final question?
I would love to. And 1 million copies be in.
Well, I think you already have. I mean, I have a lot of great ideas, and I have great, ideas to kind of move forward. So I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Y'all remember, don't pour your don't put your coffee in the trash can. We have been batting 1,000. We are not getting blamed for coffee being in the trash can. So, and if you see a water fountain, it's a trap, it's a trick. Don't pour your coffee down there either. So either drink it, pour it in the restroom, or take it out the building with y'all, please.
Alright, everybody, you can mingle for another 5 minutes or so, and otherwise we will see you in January. Whatever you're celebrating this holiday season, happy to it, and we'll see you all next year.
I was watching